For the last 30 years, the world economy has operated on a very simple and predictable rule. The United States invents the technology, and China manufactures it cheaply and efficiently for the rest of the world. This partnership, often called Chimerica, created the greatest explosion of wealth and cheap goods in human history. But today, if you look at the back of your new iPhone box, you might notice a historic change. It no longer says assembled in China on every single box. Increasingly, it says assembled in India. This is not just a minor change in a supply chain. It is the signal of a massive geopolitical earthquake. The West has realized that relying on China for everything is a dangerous strategic mistake that must be fixed. They are looking for a new partner, a new factory, and a new counterweight to Beijing's growing power. And there is only one country on the planet that has the size, the population, and the ambition to fill that void: India. In this episode, we are going to analyze the rise of India and what it means for the global balance of power. We will explain why companies like Apple, Tesla, and Foxconn are rushing to move their billions to New Delhi. And we will ask the ultimate question: can India really replace China, or is the infrastructure just not ready yet? To understand this shift, we first had to look at the most important resource of the 21st century: people. Last year, a historic milestone was quietly crossed that will shape the next 50 years of the global economy. India officially overtook China to become the most populous nation on the face of the earth. But it is not just about the total number of people. It is about the age of those people. China is getting old very fast. Their workforce is shrinking, and their wages are rising, making them less competitive. India, on the other hand, is incredibly young, with a median age of just 28 years old compared to China's 39. This is called a demographic dividend, and it means India has a massive army of young workers ready to work. For Western corporations, this looks exactly like China did in the 1990s, a massive market and cheap labor. I want to pause here and ask you a question about the economic future of the world. Do you believe India has the discipline and infrastructure to become the next manufacturing superpower like China? Or will their bureaucracy and internal politics hold them back from reaching their true potential? This is a huge debate among economists right now, so let me know your perspective in the comments below. But demographics are only half of the story. The other half is pure, cold-hearted geopolitics. The United States knows that it cannot stop China alone. It needs a powerful ally in Asia to balance the scales. This gives India incredible leverage to play a game that experts call strategic autonomy. India is perhaps the only country in the world that can be friends with both the United States and Russia at the same time. Look at what happened during the war in Ukraine, when the West sanctioned Russian oil and gas. Europe stopped buying, but India stepped in and bought record amounts of cheap Russian oil to fuel its economy. The US was not happy about this, but they could not punish India because they need India to counter China. India buys S-400 missile defense systems from Russia, while simultaneously buying jet engines and drones from America. This is the genius of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's foreign policy. India comes first, and they choose no side. However, the rivalry between India and China is not just economic, it is physically dangerous and very real. They share a massive, disputed border in the Himalayas, the longest unmarked military border in the world. In 2020, Chinese and Indian soldiers clashed in the Galwan Valley in a brutal, medieval-style hand-to-hand combat. Dozens of soldiers died fighting with clubs and stones because firearms are banned along the border to prevent escalation. This violence convinced India that China is not a friend, but a permanent strategic threat to their sovereignty. Remember the string of pearls strategy we discussed in the last video about the Belt and Road Initiative. India sees China building ports in Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Myanmar, and they feel completely surrounded by the Chinese Navy. In response, India is building its own necklace of diamonds strategy to counter China's influence in the Indian Ocean. They are building naval bases in the Andaman Islands to block the Malacca Strait from the western side. This is why the Indian Ocean is destined to become the most militarized ocean of the 21st century. But let's be realistic. For all the hype, India faces massive internal challenges that China solved decades ago. China is a dictatorship that can build a high-speed railway or a mega factory in a single year without asking anyone. India is the world's largest democracy, which means building infrastructure is slow, messy, and full of legal battles. Logistics in India are still expensive. Moving a container from Delhi to Mumbai can take longer than shipping it to London. The license Raj bureaucracy still exists in some forms, making it harder for foreign companies to set up shop quickly. However, the government is investing billions into digital infrastructure, famously known as the India Stack. They have created a digital ID system and a digital payment system called UPI that is more advanced than what the US has. This digital revolution is skipping the traditional banking phase and bringing millions of people into the modern economy instantly. So, where does this leave us in the grand chessboard of the modern world order? We are moving away from a unipolar world led by the US and away from a bipolar world led by the US and China. We are entering a multipolar world, where India stands as a third, independent pole of power. But India is doing something else that is very interesting. They are leading a group of nations that want to change the money system. India is a key member of a powerful economic alliance that challenges the dominance of the US dollar. An alliance that includes Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. To BRICS, they are talking about creating a new currency, a new payment system, and a world not ruled by the Federal Reserve. In our next video, we are going to look at the biggest economic threat to American power in history. We are going to analyze BRICS and the war on the US dollar. See you in the BRICS video.